The word Darth first appeared in A New Hope as part of the name Darth Vader. At that time, George Lucas was still figuring out the details of the Star Wars universe, and the title wasn't fully set. In fact, Darth might have been meant as Vader's actual name, not a title. This is supported by the fact that when Obi-Wan Kenobi confronts Vader on the Death Star, he simply calls him Darth, the only time that happens in the films. George Lucas later explained that the name Darth Vader was intentionally meant to combine dark and father. In his own words, Darth is a variation of dark, and Vader is a variation of father. So it's basically Dark Father. And this makes sense, especially after The Empire Strikes Back, when we learn that Vader is Luke's father. But interestingly, Lucas didn't plan for that twist when making A New Hope. The story changed over time. While the dark and father connection came later, it shows how Lucas would often add new layers to the story as it developed. So where could Darth come from, and how has its meaning evolved over time? Let's break down some of the most prominent theories. In the book Jedi vs. Sith, The Essential Guide to the Force, it suggested that the word Darth could be a combination of letters from the phrase Dark Lord of the Sith. This makes sense when we consider the Sith Lord's titles: Darth Sidious, Darth Maul. All of these Sith titles embody the idea of a powerful figure, but Darth might be shorthand for the full title, symbolizing their supremacy and mastery of the dark side of the Force. Another interesting theory is that Darth might actually be a combination of dark and death. This idea plays on how darkness is often linked to death, destruction, and decay, all things that fit perfectly for a Sith Lord. But the theories don't stop there. Some historians suggest that Darth could have ancient connections to the Rakatan species, an advanced civilization that once ruled the galaxy long before the Sith. One possibility is that Darth could be derived from the Rakatan word Daritha, which means emperor. The Rakata were a powerful species known for their conquest of the galaxy, and their culture was centered around power, control, and domination, traits that the Sith embrace. If Darth were derived from Daritha, it would imply that the Sith Lords saw themselves as rulers of the galaxy, akin to emperors. A further theory suggests that Darth could come from the Rakatan terms Dar, triumph or conquest, and Tar, death. Combined, this could mean conquest through death, or triumph over death. This would fit perfectly with the Sith's obsession with immortality and their desire to conquer not just their enemies, but death itself, a central theme for many Sith Lords throughout Star Wars history. The story of the title Darth has gone through various changes over time, and it has become a central aspect of the Sith identity. Though the Essential Guide to the Force suggests that Darth Andedu might have been the first Sith Lord to use the Darth title, the timeline of its origin has shifted through various retcons. The idea of who first used the title has changed several times. It started with Darth Bane, who is often credited with standardizing the Darth title for Sith Lords. Interestingly, Bane was first mentioned in the 1999 The Phantom Menace novelization, before his character was fleshed out in the Darth Bane trilogy. However, the introduction of Darth Revan added complexity to the history of the title. While the Rakatan theories are intriguing, there are some issues with how they fit into the Star Wars timeline. One problem is that Darth was already in use well before the time of Revan and Malak. In Knights of the Old Republic comics, Padawan Zane Carrick calls Jarael Darth Sunshine, indicating that the title was known to the Jedi much earlier. The title Darth was already in circulation before the Rakata re-emerged in Star Wars lore, which raises questions about whether the term came from them at all. Harlin says that if he were to take a Sith name, it would be Darth Hayes. This further suggests that the title Darth was already in use among Sith long before Revan and Malak's discovery of the Starforge, challenging the theory that the Rakata were the source of the title. When The Phantom Menace and the prequels came out, the title Darth became clearly linked to the Sith. Before then, it was only associated with Darth Vader, but with new characters like Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, and Darth Tyrannus, it was established that Darth was a title reserved for Sith Lords. This marked a shift in how the Sith were understood, showing that the title was part of their dark philosophy and their pursuit of power. Each Sith Lord who carried the Darth title had a name that reflected their personality or their role within the Sith. Sidious is all about manipulation and deceit. As the mastermind behind the fall of the Republic, his title fits his sneaky, behind-the-scenes tactics. He uses lies and manipulation to control others and get what he wants, which is at the core of his Sith identity. Maul is the brutal enforcer of the Sith's will. His title matches his savage, violent nature. He's not a strategist like Sidious. Instead, he's the one who physically takes action, using his strength and aggression to crush enemies and carry out his master's orders. Tyrannus, or Count Dooku, represents a more refined type of Sith. His name reflects his belief in ruling through tyranny and control. He has an aristocratic background and believes in commanding with authority, making him a symbol of the Sith's desire for dominance and power over others. The title Darth is more than just a name. It shows how each Sith Lord uses the dark side in different ways. Whether it's through cunning, force, or control, each Sith's Darth name reflects their unique approach to gaining power and spreading the Sith philosophy. So, what does the title Darth really mean? The title Darth has evolved significantly over time, from Darth Vader's mysterious name to a defining title for Sith Lords. Its origins are still debated, whether it's a shortening of Dark Lord of the Sith, a mix of dark and death, or linked to ancient Rakatan influences. What remains clear is that Darth symbolizes power, fear, and mastery over the dark side. From Darth Revan through Darth Bane and beyond, the title has come to represent the Sith's obsession with domination and immortality. Darth will always be a key symbol of their dark legacy in the Star Wars saga.